God's got this. I've heard that many times throughout my life, and I seem to have heard it more often recently, and I've seen it posted on social media. God's got this. At its best, that can be an affirmation of God's sovereignty, of God's benevolence. But for me, that saying, God's got this, carries with it a couple of temptations. And one temptation is to overthink things. Well, if God's got this, then why are bad things happening? If God's got this, why are people dying? The second temptation is for me to just wash my hands of the whole situation and bury my head in the sand and cross my fingers and hope bad things don't happen to me. God's got this. By the way, crossing your fingers and hoping bad things don't happen to you doesn't sound like a very sound expression of one's faith. Perhaps it's better for us to think of this differently. Instead of God's got this, perhaps we should realize we've got this. And that's not me saying, we've got this, like Coach Aubrey giving you a pep talk, we've got this, but rather stating a simple truth. These are the circumstances which we face together right now. In each of the synoptic gospels, the feeding of the 5,000 is described similarly. That is, they find themselves in a remote place, it's getting late in the day, and the disciples come to Jesus and say, we'd better send the people home or they're going to get hungry. And Jesus says, you give them something to eat. Well, we know that, of course, Jesus multiplied the food, but again, Matthew, Mark, and Luke each tell us that he gave the food to the disciples and they distributed it to the people. They gave them something to eat. I can't help but think that perhaps God looks down on us now and sees a similar situation. He's provided bountifully. And yet in these trying times, it's important for us to see people around us in need and to be willing to meet those needs. We need to look for the people who need something to eat. We need to look for the people who need a little bit of extra grace right now. We need to look to the people who need a little bit of extra encouragement. At the end of each of Dr. Greer's emails to us, he says, take care of yourself and take care of each other. I think that's what God would expect of us as he looks down on us in these times and in all times. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. You give each other something to eat. God's got this, but we've got this.